Hi, Chinika, Earth Angel. Um, so today I'm feeling really frustrated. I've recently been speaking up for myself a lot more than I usually ever, not ever have in my life, because I was definitely a more outward rebel when I was a teenager, but life and experiences of relationships, emotional abuse has kind of caged me in a way that makes me feel shut down, a way that makes me feel like I can't speak on my behalf, and a way that makes me feel like I can't ask questions or anything. It just shuts me down and shuts me up. And this energy that I feel is so pervasive to me. And I felt it today in a meeting. I have these two older women who I don't I'm sh- I they don't like me very much. And I have stood up for myself, or stood up for what I believe to be right ethically and morally a couple of times. And of course, in opposition to whatever perspective they had. So the relationship has a lot of tension. So today, another person, we were in this meeting, another person asked me a question, and both of the ladies that I was speaking of before turned around and was like, "Oh, excuse me, what's the question?" Like, so, like, quick. Like, I couldn't speak for myself, or I couldn't answer the question, and just obviously just not minding their own fucking business, which really pissed me off. Like, damn, like, I can speak for myself, like, they didn't ask you. They said my name, turned to me and asked me a question. And here they come bombarding, on into my personal space and my conversation. It was super annoying. And at the time, like, I don't know how I responded to that interaction in the moment, but I know how I felt. And I was like, damn, like, you are not me. And so that's just one of the things that can bridge off into so many topics, is just dealing with energies that want to shut me up and shut me down. And I've been dealing with that for pretty much my whole entire life. Um, I don't know why I'm smiling about it, but I've been dealing with that my whole entire life. Like, my family of origin, um, like, from my family of origin, in school and class, like, people around me, friends or so-called friends, in romantic relationships, gosh, um, just all sorts of relationships. Just like, what I know now is emotional abuse, just like emotional abuse, putting me down, shutting me up, not allowing me to talk about my experiences with this person, um, or with these people or whatever. It's been my experience for pretty much my whole life. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. It's taken me a really long time, even now, to where I've got to a point where I don't internalize them shutting me down and trying to shut me up. And now I can see it. I can see it and I can feel it when they're doing it to me, or when they're trying it. with me. And I'm having a hard time controlling my rage. I'm having a really hard time. But my first step is this. My first step is acknowledging when it's happening, acknowledging how I feel, not putting myself in a position to blame myself for their behavior or tell myself that I somehow caused them to act in this way to me, or that it's my fault that they're acting in this way to me, or that I'm being too much, or that I'm in the way, or whatever. Because I feel like that's a part of the emotional abuse, is that they make me feel like I'm not supposed to be here, right? They make me feel like I'm not supposed to be heard. I'm only supposed to be seen. And I felt that again for my entire life. You know, I grew up with that. You know, and to not internalize that is very hard, because it's like, for me, it's like either I'm cool or I'm on defense mode, and I'm not gonna keep letting them put me in survival mode. I'm not about to keep playing their game. I'm not gonna play anyone's game, because I live in my own world, because I'm co-creating my own world. And I'm not gonna keep doing that with them. I'm not. And I'm building trust within myself to know that I can handle myself. I've taken care of myself, and you probably have too. If this is resonating with you, you probably have too been taking care of yourself truthfully your entire life. You know, like, you probably have been taking care of yourself emotionally, mentally your entire life. And so have I. So at the end of the day, like, nobody has any say-so on what I say or how I feel, you know? And as long as I'm not hurting anybody, because that's my moral, that's a part of my ethics, then why? No. I'm not shutting myself down for anybody else either. You know, I was gonna come up here and chill or like smoke. It just kind of helps with my stress relief. But I think some of my coping mechanisms are in relation to how I shut myself down emotionally. Like, I could call them soothing, but if it's not me expressing myself and allowing myself to have emotional freedom, then is it really helpful? Because this is emotional freedom. Being able to talk, being able to serve others with my experience, with your experience, not hiding. Like, people want to store their little seeds of doubt and little seeds of like jealousy and envy in people. They try to store that in you and then don't want you to say anything about it. That could be like, oh, what happens in this house stays in this house. I was raised with that one too. Children are not heard or not heard, but seen. Something like this, you know, or it's disrespectful to do this, or you're not being loyal to the another person. after they've hidden their little distorted seed within you. No, fuck that. We're not doing that anymore with anybody.